Welcome on in, folks. It is Wednesday, the 24th of November. It is Thanksgiving week. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be talking about the week 12 and everything that went on in the week 12. Jameis Winston, it looks like he's getting ready for turkey football out there, backyard football out there on this last Sunday. We got Baker Mayfield getting hurt, T. Higgins going down with an injury, Jahmyr Gibbs going Super Saiyan, JSN following Jahmyr Gibbs also going Super Saiyan. We got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, folks, let's get on into it. Let's go.
You're watching Cold Brews and Hot Takes, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
What is going on, my friends? And you are all my friends because it's usually Wednesday when I'm live. It is Monday, November 24th, 2025. It's a very cloudy, I'm looking out the window, very dreary kind of day today. A lot of fog this morning. I don't know what's going on here in the Tampa Bay area. Seems like the Buccaneers played another primetime stinker. Oh, wait, they did. And it happens all the time when the Buccaneers go primetime. They just lay eggs and people get hurt and nothing good happens in prime time. I always tell my kids, they're 16, 15, 14. They're about to be driving soon. I tell them all the time, listen, nothing good happens after midnight in general. So just don't stay out late. Come home like when you're supposed to. Nothing good happens to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after 8 p.m. It seems like. So we'll get into that. We also got some other things I want to talk about today on the show. Jameis Winston. Jameis, I apologize. Last week, I did ask you to show up. I asked you to show up, and you didn't last week. You did this week. You had a touchdown through the air. I was watching that going, wait a minute. Who's number 19? What is happening here? This guy is stumbling, bumbling all the way to the end zone. Jameis Winston definitely showed up. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, man. I really do appreciate you. Michael Wilson continues his dominance, his Malik Neighbors style of dominance. When you get 18, 15 targets a game, anyone could look good. So Michael Wilson continues to dominate like we've been telling you on this channel. JSN. I don't know what to say about JSN. He's the greatest wide receiver of all time. He's better than Jerry Rice. He's better than Randy Moss. He's better than No, I'm kidding, of course. But he's definitely on that trajectory of being one of the greatest of his generation. If he continues to play like this, him and Sam Darnold just make a match made in euphoria. I won't say the other thing, but in euphoria, JSN and Sam Darnold are doing their thing. And let's also give it up. Parker Washington didn't even have to return a punt to become fantasy relevant. He showed up for you. He showed out. We'll talk about Parker Washington a little bit later. But guys, one last thing before we get into our main course here on Cold Brews and Hot Takes. Caleb Williams. We need to start looking at Caleb Williams as a true fantasy football asset, especially in your dynasty formats. He is showing out ever since the Bears bye week. He has been a quarterback you want to roster this coming playoff season and beyond, and we'll talk about that later. And then again, Shedeur Sanders, congratulations to you as well. You became the first Browns quarterback to win his debut start since, I believe it was 1995. In my notes, it says, who cares? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. Congratulations, Shedeur. You were a passenger in a win led by defense and bad playing on the other side, and the running backs going nuts for you. So congratulations, Shedeur. We all should just clap. And that's enough for that. That is enough of that. So that being said, let's get right into the plugs. You can find us everywhere, fantasynowplus.com, rankings, waivers, articles, much more. You can follow us on the Finns Talk Sports Network. My brothers over there, Bobby Melendez, and those guys talking Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins were on a bye week this week, so they didn't put out much content, but they're your one-stop shop for the Miami Dolphins or anything else Miami-related sports. whether it be the stinking Panthers, if you're into that kind of thing, whether it be in the Miami Heat, if you like the NBA, Florida Marlins, if you're into baseball, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on and on. Great content out there on the Finstock Sports Network. In our Discord, chat.fantasynowplus.com. That's where all the action is. That thing is nonstop. You guys are going nuts. I love it. I love it. I love it. Make sure you join the conversation today, chat.fantasynowplus.com, where you can get instant access to people like myself, Justin, Will, Tim, everybody. I know everybody's name. Topher, Flores, Justin, don't come at me. I know everybody's name. I do. I actually did a show with Tim, I believe, on Saturday at 4 p.m. Dynasty in 30, my debut show, my debut appearance on Dynasty in 30. So go ahead and check that out. We did a mock draft, Dynasty early, way too early, Dynasty mock draft. There will be plenty of those down the future. So if you're into Dynasty Fantasy Football, make sure you check out Saturdays at 4 p.m. Super smart guys over there, sharp guys over there, way smarter than me, way over my head. The Dynasty in 30 guys. So that being said, let's get into it, guys. The cream of the crop. Who rose to the occasion? Who was the best players for your fantasy football teams in Week 12? Jameis Winston. We already talked about it. He went 18 for 36, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. His token interception. Jameis isn't going to play a full game without an interception. Don't fact check me. I'm sure he has before, but he didn't. He throws interceptions a lot. He also caught a ball, 33 yards, 1 touchdown. That was the play I was talking about. I must have been looking at my phone or something like that. I was watching Red Zone. I'm playing probably Pokemon Go, probably doing my battle league as I'm watching football. Sometimes I look up, sometimes I'm down, sometimes I just hear the guys talk. But I was definitely battling somebody or doing a raid or whatever it was. And I see this guy in the Giants, number 19, breaking tackles, stumbling, bumbling his way to the end zone. I'm like, go, because I started Jameis in my fantasy league, my home league, because I have to. This is the bottom line. I have to. I was going, get the passing touchdown. Let's go. And then I see it was Jameis himself. I'm like, wait a minute. What? I missed the entire play. I just saw him catching the ball and running. Pokemon Sword is fire. My son's not in the room. I have Pokemon ZA on the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out for Christmas. It's in the drawer right now. I play it when he's away, but the kids are home for Thanksgiving break. But yes, Pokemon Sword is fire. I'm currently in Pokemon ZA, and I'm addicted to Pokemon Go. Addicted. So if you want to add me, go to Blue Sky. Let me know. Or go on the Discord. We could become friends, Pokemon Go friends. I send gifts daily, 100%. Anyway, I open gifts as well. Anyway, Jameis Winston. He did what he needed to do, fill in for Jackson Dart. He crushed it. Wan'Dale Robinson had a breakout game as well. We'll talk about him later. Jalen Hurts also showed up, 30.9 fantasy points, doing what he does best, being elite, throwing the ball 39 times. Who says they don't throw the ball? Who says they don't throw the ball? He also led his team in rushing. He beat Saquon Barkley in the rushing yardage. So something going on with Saquon and that team, but they're winning, so can't really say much about it. On the flip side, Dak Prescott, 28.1 fantasy points, threw the ball 36 times, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, also had a rushing touchdown. Dak Prescott remains elite. And here's the guy I wanted to talk about, Shadir Sanders. Not Shadir Sanders. We're not talking Shadir Sanders. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. I know Sean, Sean is one of the founders of this great site that we run over here, and he's a very big Shadir guy, so I'm not going to talk bad about him. He refused to clip my clip last week of Shadir because he didn't want any negative Shadir comments out there, which I understand. Protect your guy, but I love you, Sean. That's why I'm not going to disrespect Mr. Sanders today, and I wasn't going to. He got a win. He did his job. He made one great throw. I'm happy for him. I legitimately am. I was rooting for the kid all season long, so I'm hoping he does well. But Caleb Williams, another person, another quarterback that people seem to be 50-50 on. He paints his nails, he's weird, he scrambles too much. He doesn't have the structure, he can't get the timing down. Whatever you guys want to say about Caleb Williams, I don't care. Because Caleb Williams is a freaking baller. Caleb Williams has continued to become one of the greatest I wouldn't say greatest, but one of the best quarterbacks in this, I guess, season. He's putting up 21-point games week in, week out. He's being very underrated, by the way, because we're seeing Swift and Monanagai take over as the lead backs, and kind of Odunze is taking a backward step. Odunze's numbers has fallen off massively, which we expect him to if the running game goes on. But Caleb Williams in that time has made almost minimum mistakes. So he hasn't thrown a touchdown in his past 3 weeks. He's thrown touchdowns in every single game in the past 3 weeks, except for week 7 and 8, where he struggled. Those are the weeks he kind of fell off, where he had 5.7 and 12.8. But ever since then, 38 points, 25 points. Like, he's been on top of things. And it's because of his rushing and because of Ben Johnson. And since the bye week, he has shown out. Now, his schedule going forward, right? He's got Philadelphia Friday, November 28th, this Friday, at Philadelphia. That's going to be a tough matchup. At Green Bay, December 7th. Again, possibly another tough matchup. Then they're at home against the Browns. We know the Browns defense is serious. They could be serious. Another tough matchup. Again, against the Bears. December 20th. We don't have a time yet, to be determined. That could be a tough matchup. And December 28th, we have the 49ers on the road, and we know they can give up fantasy football points. So with that being said, with Caleb Williams, his success, and you getting on top of that, he does have a tough matchup going down the road where I do think they're going to run the ball a ton because they're going against, again, Philadelphia, Green Bay twice, the Browns, the 49ers, who also give up points to the fantasy football or fantasy running back. So it's going to be a fun time seeing Caleb Williams into this playoff run. I'm rooting for Caleb Williams, but am I rooting for him for my fantasy team or for real life? That's the problem. For real life, probably not. Don't care about the Bears. Don't care about the NFC. I'm a Dolphins guy. But for fantasy, I think he's become one of these quarterbacks that are sneaky good. And in Dynasty next year, he may be underrated because other guys like Drake May will be selected and talked about a lot more, where Caleb's kind of fall under the radar a little bit. So huge Caleb Williams huge Caleb Williams fan. Wide receivers that were awesome. JSN, we already spoke about him, 37.1 fantasy points. It continues to be the best season of his career. My mic was unplugged, so I hope you guys heard me the whole time. I just got a notification my microphone got unplugged. You may need a new cord. It's okay. Wan'Dale Robinson, 30.6 fantasy points, 9 catches, 156 yards, 4 targets. I want to see this continue when Jackson Dart does return, because I do think he's going to return in week 13. But Wan'Dale, love to see it. Craig, what's going on, my guy? Hi, Josh. This is one of my worst weeks. Not even 100 points this week. Starting bad with Allen, -5. Listen, Craig, if I had my phone on me, which I'm not allowed to have per Sean, let me read to you the worst fantasy football week of all time and how I rebounded. Because this is a lesson. This is a lesson not to panic. In my home league, yes, this is my real leagues, all of my leagues. In my home league, and I know nobody cares about your fantasy football teams. I understand that. But this is relevant to Craig. Craig's awesome. I want to give him some encouragement. I am currently 7-4. I'm about to be 8-4. Last week, week 11, I had JJ McCarthy, 8.5 fantasy points. Ashton Genty, 7.25. Quinshawn Studkins, 7.38. Jamar Chase, 5.25. Rashee Rice, 7.75. Trey McBride, okay, 29.39. Cool. Roma Dunze, 6.13. Breece Hall, 9. Jameis Winston, I started last week, 12.3. For a grand total of 92.92. The league average in this league, scoring, which that matters, is the league average is 140. I was way below average, dude, and I'm a playoff team. And I read you all my names. They're all super studs. So the whole message of that, why I read that, is I wasn't concerned. I'm glad all my players the bet on me in 1 week. I'm glad that they decided to all do it in 1 week, get it over with, because they're all studs. I read you the names, except for JJ McCarthy. I had Daniel Jones on bye. They're all studs. I'm not worried about it. So, Craig, think about it like that. This might be the worst week you've had,
but be glad it's all in 1 week. Drake London was out. Higgins got hurt. Emeka sucked. Diggs did nothing. Josh Allen did nothing. Those are all studs. So just follow the process and play next week like that week didn't exist. That's what I did. And guess what my team did? Again, nobody cares about fantasy teams. I understand that. Reading this strictly for content purposes. Daniel Jones, 21.05. Ashton Jinty bounced back, 22.5. Studkins, 15.88, bounced back. Odunze sucked. Rashee Rice bounced back, 26. McBride is McBride. Brees Hall bounced back, 14.8. Jameis, again, that's the whole point. Trust your team. It's too late in the season to be making drastic moves. That goes for everybody out there. Audio changed, but you can still hear me. That probably means that I went through, I'm going through my computer. Ungood. Sounds like an amateur. You guys don't come here for amateur hour. You guys don't come here for terrible audio. You guys come here for professionals. And that's what we are. So I hope that, yes, I started Winston this week. Yes, I started Jameis this week. Force. You're dang right I did. And Craig, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving as well. That goes for everybody. JR, Force, Craig, everybody. JR, I said JR already. Everybody in the chat, have a great Thanksgiving if I don't say it. UB as well. Yes, I started Jameis. Why would I not start Jameis? This dude's a baller. We eat W's over here. No, to be honest with you, I was gonna start. I had Jackson Dart. So it was either Dart or Winston. That was the situation. Michael Wilson, back to the content. Michael Wilson, 21.8 fantasy points on 15 targets, proving that literally if you get targets in this league and you convert on maybe a third of them, maybe 2/3 of them like he did, 10 catches, 118 yards, 21.8 fantasy points, and everybody, we are like that Simpsons meme, and I bring it up because I play a lot of Fortnite, and Simpsons is in Fortnite right now, yelling at the sky, why couldn't that be Marvin? But when Marvin comes back, maybe it could be Marvin. Let's look at the bright side of things. That's right. I am Mr. Positive today. Who would have thought? But yes, it's good to see Jacoby Brissett get the ball to everybody. Even Greg Dortch, I believe, had double-digit targets. Trey McBride excelled as well. This offense just looks so much better with Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position. Do we need to see Kyler again this year or next or beyond? I don't think we do. And I'm a Kyler guy. Parker Washington, 18.1. Like I said, 7 targets, 5 catches, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. It's good to see when Brian Thomas Jr. is out. Brenton Strange came back and also had a great game. It's good to see this team roll like this. This is what we wanted from Parker Washington. I highly doubt anybody started him, but if you did, congratulations. Jahmyr Gibbs. If you played against Jahmyr Gibbs and you won, let me know. I need to know. I'm in a league where I have 1 win and I'm terrible. I took over an orphan and I'm terrible. My only key pieces are Jahmyr Gibbs and Rashee Rice. Pretty much that's it. I won. I have only won 1 game all year. I'm starting guys that aren't even in the NFL. So Jahmyr Gibbs was undefeated this week. 55.4 fantasy points, 15 carries, 219 yards. What? I didn't see that. 11 catches. I saw that. 45 yards in the air, 1 touchdown, 12 targets. So Jahmyr Gibbs, if you had any questions, if you were upset or whatever, this was his big week to vindicate all the bad weeks he may have possibly had. Emmanuel Wilson, if you started him, excuse me while I take a sip of my cold brew. Emmanuel Wilson, 26.5 fantasy points. Josh Jacobs was a late scratch, but if you watched us all week, we kind of hinted towards he wasn't going to play, and I think most of the national media hinted toward that as well. 28 carries for Wilson, 107, 2 touchdowns. This tells me when Josh Jacobs comes back, they're going to be ready to run the ball through every opponent they have when it comes December. I'm loving this for Josh Jacobs when he does return, but if Emmanuel Wilson gets the lead back again next week, look out, man. He looks serious. Started him and lost to JSN and Wandale. No, you lost with Gibbs. That's terrible, dude. Oh, my goodness. Wandale. Oh, I'd be hot. But yeah, man, that's fantasy, though. That happens. That's unfortunate. Ashton Jinty rose from the dead. 24.5 8 fantasy points. It looks like I said last week, the majority of his points come from the air. 8 catches, 58 yards, 1 touchdown. Did get that 8 targets. We'd love to see that from Ashton Ginty. He only had 50 yards on the ground with 17 carries, only 2.9 yards per carry. I know it's the Raiders. I know they're bad. I know their offensive line is bad. I know their offense is bad. But we need to see more out of the running game from him so I could be super confident because I see the talent. It's there. We just need to build around him. I hate the fact that he's on such a bad team. But the 8 catches, 58 yards, we like to see that. And Quinshawn Studkins. Oh, I'm ashamed. I can't be victory lapping this one. I told everyone to sit him. He was playing, but he was playing the Wildcat, which if you watch our Wednesday show, that's what I wanted. I said, listen, when they get to the red zone or just basically put Judkins back there, let him play out of the Wildcat. That's how he scored his 2 touchdowns. But again, his yards per carry were bad as well. Just 2.9 yards per carry, 16 touches, 47 rushing yards, no catches, 0 catches. That's not good for a fantasy running back. We need those catches. Pick it up. Tight ends, Hunter Henry, 24.5. Yeah, he had his game. If you started him, congratulations. Trey McBride continues to be the best tight end in football. 16.9 fantasy points on 10 targets, 79 catches. I was reading, I don't want to, we'll get the Brock Bowers. Never mind. Never mind what I was going to say. I'll get the Brock Bowers. Brenton Strange came back, 14.3 fantasy points, 93 yards on 5 targets, led the Jaguars in receiving yards. Love to see it. If you were able to trade for him in Dynasty while he was out and you're a losing team, good on you. I recommended that. I got him super cheap. I love his, I love his projections in the Jaguars moving forward. I love his future in the Jaguars moving forward. Rico and Kittle tonight. Yeah, we'll get to him, Greg. We'll get to the Monday nights. And in the meantime, what do you guys need to win tonight? Because I need some stuff. I need a lot of stuff. So in the meantime, let me know what you guys need to win. We're going to get there pretty soon. But first, we're going to get to the stinkers. The people who terribly performed for fantasy football in week 12. But before we do that, let's get a little video from our friends over at Underdog. That's right. If you play 5 right now on Underdog Fantasy using our code FN Plus, you get $100 of bonus funds. I had a bad week this week. Just want to get those out there. I made 2, played 2. I got 3 out of 4 on each one. I lost the third leg. One was a touchdown only leg where Ramondre didn't score. I'm just logging in. Where Ramondre didn't score, but I got Manon guy, I got Charbonnet, and I got who else was that bum? That bum who scored for me. It was Jahmyr Gibbs. So I got 3 out of 4. In my other one, oh my gosh. I picked the more on Travis Kelce's receiving yards, 56.5. Didn't get it. I picked the more for Justin Jefferson. By the way, his lowest total ever, 63.5. I bet the more. I played the more. Didn't get it. Sucks. In Zay Flowers, I played the more receptions, 4.5. I got that one. But yeah, try Underdog. It's fun. I'm going to play some tonight. Man. Ramondre couldn't score. The one week I trust Ramondre, he's back. He does nothing. So it is what it is. I'm glad Ramondre didn't do anything. Bohr says, I'm going 9-3 and most likely winning out best record in the league. Already beat my opponent and have T-Mac. I love that. Still to go. That's right. I'm dog. You are, dude. That's awesome. Craig says, I hope to get maybe 120, but the player against has 220 this week. Ooh. Yeah, Rico, you're going to need that Rico. All right, real quick. Who got iced this week? Who was terrible? Again, we don't like to go too hard on the bad players. We stay positive over here. First player, Josh Allen, Thursday night, 24 for 34, 253, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, only 20 yards rushing on the ground. Bad game for Josh Allen. He's had a couple stinkers this year. Don't worry, guys. He's not falling off. He has no help. He has no help, as the Bills Mafia says. I'm a Dolphins guy, so I think it's funny. But it's not funny for our fantasy teams. I don't root against him for fantasy, just for real life football. Lamar Jackson, 7.2, just threw the ball 23 times, had 153 yards in the air, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and only 11 yards on the ground. Just 11. That's not real life. Lamar had a bad game. Jordan Love, 14 for 21, 139. It's not his fault. They didn't need him. So he had a terrible game, 7.1. Baker got hurt, 5.5. Left shoulder strain. Didn't come back in the game at the half. Teddy Bridgewater filled in. He went 9 for 19, 41 yards, threw 1 touchdown, threw 2 picks. Baker has not looked good in the past couple weeks. There's something wrong with Baker. There's something more than just this injury or missing Mike or missing Godwin or missing this person. There's something going on. We don't know what it is yet. And Joe Flacco, 10.6, 19 for 37, 183, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Without T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that's kind of what you're going to get. Oh, man. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I got a comment because I said Stephon Diggs is putting up tight end numbers this year. And if he scores a touchdown, you're happy. And if he doesn't score a touchdown, you're not happy. Well, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, Stephon Diggs put on a good number, great numbers. I got called out in the comments. Oh, I thought he was just a tight end, blah, blah, blah. 2 for 20 on 3 targets, tight end numbers. Cool. Go ahead and brag to me about that 1 week he had last week. But look at everything else. Putting up tight end numbers. And if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's not performing in fantasy football. He's been average. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Diggs. I like Diggs a lot. He's just been average this year. He's not his superstar self, and he shouldn't be. He's too old for that these days. He's 32 years old. But the fact that you come at me saying he's only putting up last week, 9 catches, right? 11 targets. Other than that, 46 yards, 38 yards, 14 yards, 28 yards, 23 yards, 32 yards. The dude's a tight end at the wide receiver position, at least with his production. So don't come at me with those comments. And you know who you are. And I know you're going to watch. You always come back. I know who you are too. Watching you. Chris Godwin, 2.9. Emeka, 6.2. Both stunk it up on primetime. That's what the Buccaneers do. This is what they do on primetime. Nothing good happens to the Buccaneers after 8 p.m., period. Jordan Addison scores a big fat 0. He's droppable. He is droppable. Do not bring him into your fantasy football playoffs. Drop him and have some other gullible manager pick him up. He's useless until J.J. McCarthy is exiled from the Minnesota Vikings forever. Roma Dunze, 8.3 fantasy points. 9 targets. Like, we could be happy with the 9 targets. Just the production isn't there. I don't think him and Caleb ever since the bye week have connected as well. I don't know what the explanation is. I can't tell you what's going on, but I do know that he's been very disappointing since the bye week. Yes, he had that blow up game of 28 points when his dad retweeted a bunch of tweets about getting Odunze the ball. But ever since that game, it's been back to the same old 8.3, 9 point, just not great. Speaking of JJ McCarthy, he has done something that no other quarterback in the National Football League history can claim. Nobody has the same title as J.J. McCarthy now as the Justin Jefferson killer. Justin Jefferson has been through a cornucopia of quarterbacks, including Josh Dobbs, Mullins, I believe Kirk Cousins for a little bit, Carson Wentz, who's these other bums that stepped in? Either way, there's a bunch of bums that stepped in. And Justin Jefferson has been elite throughout this entire career with all the bum quarterbacks. He's been elite, averaging, I think, something 96 yards a game, number 1 in the NFL. You know, he's compared to Jamar Chase a ton. And my whole argument was, yeah, Chase does this and does that, but JJ doesn't have single-digit games. JJ's very consistent. Justin Jefferson's always going to be consistent. We finally found his kryptonite, and that's JJ McCarthy. That's it. That's the only. Get rid of this guy. Exile him from Minnesota. We've studied it. We've examined it. We've seen enough. look, if Josh Rosen only gets a limited time of games, or Trey Lance only gets limited time of games, or other quarterbacks only get limited time, we can just get him out of here. Get him out. He's ruining Justin Jefferson. 8.8 fantasy points, 6 targets, 4 catches, 48 yards. And it's hard for me to say that Justin Jefferson is no longer an auto start. I'm going to move on I'm going to move on. CD Lamb, 11.5 fantasy points. I only put him on here because George Pickens crushed him. 9 targets, 146, 1 touchdown. Last week on this show, I did say, can they work together? Can they coexist? Right? Well, no, they can't, because Pickens is taking it all. And CD's like, can I have some seconds? Can I have some more, please? While Pickens is eating everybody. So George Pickens is definitely the guy there right now. The CD, 11.5. I only put him on here because it wasn't George Pickens. Should I go off Emeka? If Teddy Bridgewater starts this week, it's going to be difficult. I hope you have other options, and we'll talk about that on the waiver show Tuesday with Charlene and Justin. Of course, on the Wednesday showdown, we'll talk about that as well. We'll have a better idea of who's going to start. Remember, guys, Baker's shoulder injury was to his left, not his right. He's good. He can throw. Just indications believe that he didn't come back in the game because it was already a blowout. Second half, what are you going to do? Let him rest it up a little bit more. Running back, Sean Tucker, 5.6. The whole Buccaneers offense. I should have just put the whole Buccaneers. DeAndre Swift, 1.9. And everyone's favorite, Jonathan Taylor. He's okay. He earned a bad game. 16 for 58, 8.6 fantasy points, no touchdowns. Brock Bowers, 11.5 fantasy points. He's a tight end. We should be happy with this, right? We should be happy with 11.5 at the tight end position. But you drafted him in the first round, and he's not performed the way you want him to. He's not performed the way you drafted him to be. Yes, he's there. He's not giving you zeros. He's not giving you duds, but he's also not Trey McBride. Hell, he's barely Jake Ferguson. Trey McBride has dominated him this year, especially, and that's a whole different situation. Like, let's not compare apples to apples. Way different circumstances, right? Brock Bowers was injured for 3 weeks. Then he came back in week 9. He had that big 43-point game. Then he followed up with 3.7. Trey McBride has beat him every single week in the actual weekly game logs, except for just a couple weeks, not counting the bye or the injured weeks Brock Bowers had. But guys, weeks 2 through 4, Brock Bowers didn't even hit you double digits. Trey McBride has only not hit double digits once this season. That's week 5. This is not a comparison, but I did get a lot of slack when I was taking McBride over Bowers this year, and people, and I'm just like, and then they're like, and then here we are. This is not an indication on Brock Bowers. It's just that offense. And the same thing could be said about Genty. It's that offense. They need to improve that offense. But Brock Bowers, 11.5. You didn't draft him in the first round for 11.5 fantasy points, nor 3.7, nor 14.2. McBride is over here consistently getting 27, 27, 21. Last week or this week, 16.9. That's what you want. So next year, maybe chill out on the tight ends in round 1. Maybe that's the conclusion. I should learn from this as well. But I got Trey McBride, so I'm good. AJ Barner, like I said, he's fun to watch. He's great to watch. He's so much fun to watch. Not so much on your fantasy football team. Another dud, 3.8 fantasy points. He's too risky to start, and I know a lot of people picked him up and started him. That's what you got. Here's the nightcap, though. We have a great, and I mean great, fantasy football. We have a great football game tonight. The 49ers are hosting the Panthers. The 49ers are 7-4. The Panthers are 6-5. This is kind of like a benchmark game for the Carolina Panthers. The Buccaneers lost. The door is open for the Carolina Panthers to take over the NFC South. They can win this division. And Bryce Young is playing some pretty decent football right now. Not the best, but not like last year or the year previously. This is clearly Bryce Young's best season he's had so far. Now, on the other side, the 49ers have Brock Purdy back. Brock Purdy is an auto start for your fantasy football team. Yes, he's quarterback 37, but he's been hurt. He's only played 3 games. In those 3 starts, he's 18.8 fantasy points, 19.7 fantasy points, and 19.3 with a grand total average of 19.2 points per game. Last time I checked, let's go to the quarterback list, 19.7. Oh, that'd be around quarterback 6, 7. It'd be around there. So, yes, you start Brock Purdy in confidence. Yes, he's going to crush tonight. I love Brock Purdy. CMC, he has 74 catches this year. He's averaging 25.8 fantasy points per game. Why do I bring up the 74 receptions? Well, the 49ers wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 are Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings. They combine for 63 total catches. If you add Ricky Pearsall, who is the 4th receiving on the team, they have 84. That's right. Add all 3 wide receivers for the 49ers together. They have 84 catches. If you have CMC, he's got 74. It's been CMC's year. He's back. I know it's week 12. We already know he's back, but it's good to see him back, dominating per usual. He's an auto start. If you have CMC on your roster, you're probably going to win the fantasy football league this year. Let's not be silly. Rico Dowdle, he's been a hot topic in my personal life because I just traded him in a dynasty, and I've been told I didn't get enough for him. Apparently, he's elite. Apparently, he's one of the best. He's running back 13 currently, 14.7 fantasy points per game. The 49ers allow 19.9 points a game to the running back position, which is kind of in the middle. Since his explosion in week 5, he's been the running back 4. Not counting this week. I'm not counting week 12 and all the players that played. Just from weeks 5 to 11, he's the running back 4. So maybe I didn't get enough for him. Don't ask what I got for him. I'm embarrassed. Sometimes I take L's to people. I might take a win. We'll see. But all I know is Rico Dowdle is a must start tonight. He has been on fire for this season alone. Let's see what happens next year. But for now, he's an instant start for your fantasy football team. And I expect him to do well tonight. Ted McMillan, quietly, the wide receiver 12 heading into tonight. That means we've already talking about players that played last week or this week or yesterday. Ted hasn't played yet. He's still the wide receiver 12, 13.9 fantasy points per game. He's 7th in the NFL in targets. He's 6th in the NFL in receiving yards. He's getting a 27% target share. What else do you want from a rookie wide receiver, the number 1 rookie wide receiver for your fantasy football team? I was touting Emeka Mbuka as the number 1 guy, and guys, I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry. It's Ted. Ted is the true, actually, number 1. If you look at his first 11 games this year, he has 54 catches, 748 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's with Bryce Young as his quarterback. Brian Thomas Jr.'s first 11 games, he had 42 catches. So he's already behind Ted. 698 yards, already behind Ted. 5 touchdowns. He's above Ted in that situation. Neighbors' first 11 games. I'm only saying this for perspective because Neighbors is going to blow everybody out of the water. So remember, Ted has 54 catches in his first 11 games. Neighbors had 80. Ted had 748 yards. Neighbors has 819, a little bit closer. And then Neighbors had 3 touchdowns to Ted's 4. So if you look at where we had Brian Thomas Jr. and Neighbors last year and where we drafted him in the ensuing fantasy football year for Dynasty, even for redraft, both BTJ, even though he's declined this year, and Neighbors were being drafted very, very, very high. Ted is following in their footsteps. And I don't think we're talking about it as much as we should. I think there's 2 things to it. Carolina. It's not fun to talk about Carolina players. Bryce Young. He's Katy Perry. He's hot, cold. You don't know if he's going to be 4.8 points or 40 points. You just don't know. I just don't understand it. And it's you have all these other breakout, I guess, rookies this season. You know, you're having fun watching Jackson Dart. You had fun watching Cam Scatterbo. You're having fun watching Emeka Mbuka. There's all these rookies out here that are doing good things, great things, where the guy in Carolina is kind of not being talked about as much. So Ted McMillan, long story short, start Ted. Ted's a baller. If Ted does get an improvement at the quarterback position, or if Bryce improves on his own, he's going to be a superstar for years to come. Jonathan says, my team went crazy this week. Never had so much fun watching Red Zone all season long. Yeah, it was a good time. It's a great time. Great time. It was some good games yesterday. Really good games yesterday. George Kittle, you're going to start him. Tight end 21, 13.6 fantasy points per game. This is his 11th Monday Night Football appearance. He averages 5.4 catches every Monday night game and 69.7 yards. So look out for a semi-average game for Kittle. You're going to start him no matter what. And here's the meh startable guys. Bryce Young, quarterback 24. Yes, he is still a super flex option for you. He's averaging 13.6 fantasy points per game. He's throwing the ball more this year. Not much. His not yards per attempt. His attempts per game have gone up to four more than last year. So it's not a ton. His passing yards per game has improved from 171.6 last season to now he's throwing to 196.2 this season. So it's gone up a little bit. He had 15 passing touchdowns last season. He already has 14, so he's going to surpass that as well. He's honestly the perfect quarterback too, but I'm going to say with downside. What does that mean, by the way, with downside? Well, the downside is he could literally score you 4 points. Literally. So he's not an ideal quarterback 2 for you. Against New Orleans, week 10, he scored 2.6. The week before that, against Green Bay, he scored 4. But then week 11 against Atlanta, 31.8. Again, we cannot figure out, is he Jekyll or is he Hyde? Does he only show up against bad defenses? Or does he only crumble against good defenses? Atlanta's not so good, but not so bad. 448 passing yards. But I just don't understand either. Maybe it's a coaching decision or the game plan changes per opponent. But he has the abilities. He's got the arm. He's got the brains. It's just he's got to put it all together. And if he can do that with Tet, they're going to be a magical duo for the near future. So I like Bryce Young, but he's a quarterback 2 with downside. So be careful if you're starting him tonight. Diggs or Tet rest of the season. Gonna go Tet. And here's why. He's emerging. He's on the way up. Whereas Diggs, again, I already read y'all his numbers, and maybe you're late to the show, Broly, but Diggs is more of a tight end. He's putting up tight end numbers instead of wide receiver numbers. And again, I don't want to get into it again, but 23 yards in week 3, 32 yards in week 2. I know that was a long time ago. Okay, let's get current. Week 6, 28 yards. Week 9, 38 yards. Week 10, 46 yards. He's putting up these tight end numbers. He's averaging about 5 targets a game. That's not ideal for a wide receiver 1. So that's why I'm going to go Tet. He's getting fed the ball a lot more. And if you look at his yards, he's still getting a 23% target share, Stephon Diggs. Right? He's still being involved. It's just they spread the ball to Douglas, to Hunter Henry had a monster game. They wanted to run the ball with Ramondre and with Henderson now. Diggs isn't the number 1 option, where Tet is the number 1 option. I want the number 1 option. So, and then the last person we're going to talk about, Juwan Jennings. He earns 6 targets a game, 9.7 fantasy points per game. He's a wide receiver 44. He's a meh start, but he's definitely startable nonetheless. So that's it, man. That's the show. I hope you guys actually enjoyed the show. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'll be back Wednesday, though. That's right, Wednesday. And no, I'm not producing or doing the show, the background music, because I didn't do it last time, and Justin yelled at me. So that's got to get gone because I don't know how to do it correctly. In all seriousness, no, we do. You guys, I appreciate every single one of you. I really, truly do. From Craig, the JR, the Force, the Broly, UB, everybody on this list. If I didn't say your name, I apologize. We try to put on the best content or quality show we can Monday through Monday, literally every day of the week but Fridays. And we couldn't do that if it wasn't for your support. We all appreciate you, so we love you, and we want to wish you all a great Thanksgiving if I don't see you on the Wednesday show. I know the Wednesday show is the day before Thanksgiving. Justin and I will be live at noon, so if you have time, please tune in. We'll be debating 2 players and having a lot of fun. If it's too busy for you and you're doing Thanksgiving shopping, Thanksgiving preparation, that's okay too. Just know that I do know that you wanted to be there. You just had obligations, and I understand that. And make sure you check the replay, smash that like button, subscribe, and share with a friend. It's the season of sharing, right? Thanksgiving. We share. We love our friends. Just share the show with a friend. Don't be embarrassed that you like us. Or don't, you know what? How about this? If your league mates want to listen as well, let them know to listen on certain times of the day, and I'll give them the bad advice. I'll give you the good advice. All right? All right. I kid. I give everyone great advice all the time. I do my best. So appreciate y'all. We're going to get on out of here. I'm rambling at this point, just filling time. So peace out, guys. See you Wednesday.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.